Okay, so welcome to the inaugural Gummy Nutrition Lab Podcast. Our goal here today is to tell you a little bit about what you go through as an entrepreneur and part of your daily routine to try to bring joy to the world in the form of nutraceutical gummies that taste great, look great, sell great, and as entrepreneurs make you enough money to pay the bills. And this is Jolene, who's going to introduce herself right now.
I'm Jolene. I am the other founder of Gummy Nutrition Lab. We started Gummy Nutrition Lab before COVID and put a delay on. Started a little bit, actually, it gave us a good opportunity to really figure out everything we needed to actually make a manufacturing facility, which takes a lot of time and sourcing. And we're going to go through a little bit about what you need to do to make an actual manufacturing facility work in Canada, and we'll be happy to talk about all the different steps it takes to do that.
And we'll make it super exciting, so you'll want to come in every week and see the new one. 10 seconds of background. Jolene is a master's in food science and agriculture, if I remember correctly, and started in the pregnancy supplements industry to sort of get her feet wet in this industry, and I had a microbrewery for 7 years, and so the skill sets sort of came together. I'll get Jo to tell you a lot more about what she did. She'll have a better recollection of it than I do. And during COVID, when we couldn't get a lot of things we thought we needed to help our kids and just help people in general, we realized that a lot of the things that we rely on for our overall health were not made in Canada, or were falsely attributed to being made in Canada. And so we decided, I think that was the basis for sort of where we wanted to start and why we wanted to get into this industry. We sort of wanted to bring this back to North America and get it so that we could get this stuff in a hurry if those sort of interruptions were to ever take place again.
Yeah, Jim's right. So we really took a hard look at doing our own manufacturing, which is not usual when you start a gummy company, because during COVID, we're all stuck in our houses because there was nobody in Canada making vaccines, and we thought, okay, well, if we have the skill sets or can, have the ability to learn how to do it, we should. So yeah, I am a food scientist, and I worked in food manufacturing before. I also have a background in nutraceutical formulations, and Jim had a microbrewery, so we kind of brought our skill sets together and just figured it out. And so we're going to make it a little bit more easy for the next person who wants to come along, because we think this type of industry is really important in Canada. We should be all thinking about how we can make things. In Canada, we produce a lot of really awesome raw ingredients, and we should be turning those raw ingredients into finished goods here and then sending them overseas. So that's where we started.
And we bootstrapped everything, paid for everything out of our own pocket, purchased, for reasons other entrepreneurs will understand, we purchased everything out of China since it was 1/100th the price. Brought it all in here, we built everything ourselves, put it all together. We had a couple jacks and a little mini forklift, and we assembled everything. The only thing we didn't do was the electrical. We had someone else do that. And the big thing for us was getting the equipment in to get started and getting the research going right away.
So if you're thinking, okay, so I can't even fathom building a manufacturing facility of any kind. Really, you should think about it, because you don't have to have millions of dollars. You can start small. You don't have to start making 1 million units. In fact, you shouldn't, because you probably won't be able to sell that much. So starting small makes sense for a lot of reasons. And the truth is, if you have, one of the big considerations we had was that if whatever we decided to make didn't turn out, we still had the equipment, we could make something else. So it gives you a little bit more flexibility. Okay, maybe the first gummy we make, we don't have to bank everything on making the first one. We can, quickly pivot, which we've done. The other thing we did that gave us a little bit more cushion was that we do manufacture for other people as well. So building a manufacturing facility gave us a little bit more cash flow, and we can talk a bit more about that later, about doing co-man.
Give us a lot of experience too.
And helped us build our knowledge base and keep our staff employed and busy, and They're making all sorts of gummies now.
Joe mentioned staff. I want to step in on something here because we had a similar mentor. We both took our MBAs at the U of A, and we had a mentor named Lloyd Steyer who said something that I'll just throw it in here because I always like to tell this story. Lloyd always said that the most important thing you can do as an entrepreneur is create good work for good people. And so one of the things we're trying to do is make sure that we're able to bring people in here and create good, sustainable jobs. And I think that with the way things are changing with AI, and there's a lot of movements worldwide to drive people's salaries down and really stretch the difference between classes. I think that it's great that we're able to bring people in here and create these jobs. And in particular, because we're based in Alberta, Alberta is a hauler of water and hewer of wood for the rest of the world for years. And we have these incredible resources that we grow to the ground and then we ship to other places, and then they do the secondary and tertiary production, and then we bring it back and buy it here. The goal is to take things like the pea fiber that we use as the base for our gummies and to grow it in the ground here, have the secondary producers turn it into the usable IMO that we use, and then we take it here and turn it into gummies. So we are creating jobs all the way up and down that supply chain over and above and I know it's a bit of a diversion, and we'll talk about this in a later podcast too, but it's so important to keep that manufacturing local and to keep those jobs local and give good jobs to good folks. And then you're also cutting your green footprint a lot by not shipping stuff overseas, turning it into gummies, and then bringing it back. So that was all sort of part of what we decided to do when we started this, all at the same time, without thinking about it.
Can I say what Lloyd actually said?
She's going to quote him verbatim. Mine are more stories. Hers are sort of exact statements.
So what Lloyd said is that in entrepreneurship, everyone says they want to make all this money and then donate it to whomever, wherever their values lie. But he said what you can really do to make a difference in your community is just give people good work. And so if you give 5 people jobs who didn't have them before, you can do a lot more good than donating to a charity. So that was sort of the basis of what he was talking about. And yeah, we do agree with that. We think it's really important to drive our economy in lots of ways, and that's one of them.
Yeah, he was good. He was a powerful figure in our lives, I think. Back to how we started. Where do you want to go now?
So our first product that we started with was based on my experience of turning 40 and having a baby and not being able to lose weight no matter how much I exercised or how little I ate. So I stopped, eating all the good stuff, stopped drinking alcohol, doing all those things that you think will make a difference, and exercising like crazy, and never seemed to be able to drop the weight. And as soon as I had a chance, I knew already from what was available in the Health Canada monographs that there were products that I could put into a nutraceutical that would make a difference. And I started there, and the first product we came out was the Metabolic Health, or what's now our Metabolic Health gummy, which is has a base ingredient of African wild mango extract. Tastes amazing, and it has clinical evidence to show efficacy. So that's really where we started, and we thought, wow, this is going to be a great product. But over time, we've developed a bunch more that become all loved, and Metabolic Health is still one of those. So yeah, that's really the basis and the start gummy of our company.
And it's been evolving too, because we learn, and it seems like every time we find something that makes it better, we use it. And we've recently added inositol to that for women with PCOS. We found that when we were meeting with our customers, in particular, early on we do a lot of farmers markets, great way to meet folks, and we were finding a lot of folks that were taking also had PCOS. And so we added that inositol, which helps people with PCOS. So you're seeing these treatments, these nutraceuticals that we produce evolve over time as we meet with the people who take them, and they give us good advice, and it just makes products that much better. So we think it's a heck of a product now, and we're seeing that it's moving through stores, and it's wonderful.
Again, that's another really good reason for doing your own manufacturing, is that you can evolve. It does become pricier later when you have to change packaging, but in the early stages, when you're only doing small runs of packaging, you can make small iterations and still move forward without breaking the bank. So I think that.
And
it's
you
given
can
us
put
a lot of advantage.
and you can put stickers over your labels.
Yeah, also
We've
do
had to do it a
stickering.
few times.
It's not the best, but happens.
It looks beautiful. Yeah, so that's sort of, there's a little bit to the starts there. I think in the future we want to talk about, maybe do a little walk through some of the equipment, where we got it from. The really important thing for us is well, it's kind of caused by external forces, but we really wanted to make sure that we kept control. And 100% ownership is sitting here on the podcast right now. And one of the reasons for that, though, too, is where we are in Alberta, there's not a lot of venture funds out there, and so that sort of helped us to maintain a little stricter control. And it's good because we're not answering to other folks, and it gives us the opportunity to grow and get the sales up there. And then if some point in the future we're ready to make a big jump, and then some of the venture money is out there and it's available and it's interested, it means we can get a little more without diluting the cap table as much. So I think that if you are going to start it, make the jump. And we're here. You know how to get a hold of us.
Thanks. We'll be back next week.